presents a Kult Divinity Lost actual play of The Shunned. This actual play contains mature themes and descriptions of situations that may be disturbing. Products of the illusion, horror, and con are not suitable for anyone under the age of 18. The content warnings listed in the description are not exhaustive and may not cover all sensitive topics explored in gameplay. Listener discretion is advised. Please note that the views and opinions expressed by characters during this actual play do not necessarily reflect the views of the individual player, the Illusion Horror Con, its organizers, sponsors, or partners. For more information about the convention or any events associated with the Illusion Horror and Con, please visit our website or join us on Discord. Links are in the description. Thank you for listening, and enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome to the Illusion Horror and Con YouTube channel, where we continue our story from the scenario collection Screams and Whispers for Kult Divinity Lost, the scenario The Shunned. This is part 4 of the story, so if you are just tuning in to this video, you should probably stop now and listen or watch the other episodes. All right, I'm joined by my two players. If you guys want to introduce yourself, Molly, you can go first. Who are you playing?
I'm playing Tovi Hovak. You can find me in the Discord, like I usually say.
Yeah.
Under the same name, Mal. So, yeah, always looking for a game to play.
Okay, cool. Valentine?
Yes, and I'm Valentine, usually going by Kevin the Radio Guy on the socials. And I'll be playing Dwayne McLean, a corrupt police officer with a lot of regrets.
All right. Cool, thank you guys. And let's get right into it. So, where we last left Dwayne and Toby, you were driving along the highway that leads out of Devonsport. So you were leaving town now, and you are heading towards Seattle, which is where you last heard that Eric Switzer lives. But on the way, you have decided to have a stop on the side of the road near some woods, a wooded area that you know from a case report is where Eric Switzer was found 4 years ago after he had disappeared for about a week when he was in high school. Now, you are in Washington State, so Pacific Northwest of the United States. Now this place, it's December, early December, and it's quite cold. There's not really any snow in this area, but it is quite cold. It's very misty, very foggy. Even though it's late morning, early afternoon, it's not really dark. It's just very gray, and you can't see any sun or anything, which you might be used to living in this part of the world. You have driven to the area. So along this highway is just redwoods, very thick redwood trees, a very thick forest on each side of you. And you have pulled over in a turnout right around the place where you know from your case report that Eric Switzer was found wandering around with barely any clothes, certainly not outdoor clothes for the time that he was found. And he was in pretty bad shape, seemingly wandering the woods for a time. So the scene is yours, and just let me know what you would like to do and what you do.
Could you remind us if we had any information about which season it was when Eric was found, like summer, autumn?
It was winter when he was found, and I think I have a more precise date here. I do not have a more precise date, but it was in the fall winter time of 2010.
I'm sort of turning to Toby and going like, do you think he was kept somewhere?
For a week, it might be possible, yeah.
I'm just thinking that if someone was going wandering around for a week in winter, they would be probably found with their, I don't know, legs frostbitten. And Eric seems fine.
I'm not sure if this is correct. Did we ever get the police report for when Eric went missing? Like this a report for when the police found him.
I don't think you went. I don't quite remember. We can say that you did get the police report. I think maybe you guys knew about Eric disappearing when Dwayne went to go look into the vandalism. So, yeah,
oh, yes,
I'll just make a
that's why I
call.
went to look into the vandalism, because I was making a copy of this report for Toby.
Okay, so you were making a copy of that report and not looking into the vandalism necessarily.
Yes, it was just on the way out, so
Okay.
I asked about vandalism.
Yeah, so you have a copy of Eric Switzer's disappearance report.
Okay, I think Toby's just reading over that to catch anything. Just to have his facts right, because I mean, they would have had to question him about like where he was at in the woods, what he was doing. And I just want to see the type of answers Eric gave, like his statement, basically.
Okay. Would you like to do an investigation roll to...
Sure.
I could also just tell you general things without a roll, but you might be able to see more if you do well on the roll. So you have a choice.
Okay. So I'll do the roll just to see if I can get more.
Okay.
Investigate, right?
Yes.
Failed.
Okay. All right. So you are still going to be able to read this report to a certain extent. So you look through it and in general, from Eric's statement, he didn't say all that much. There's a lot of him repeating, I don't remember. I don't remember what happened. He doesn't remember. He says in his statement, he doesn't remember how he got there. He doesn't remember where exactly he went. He remembers just being in the woods. And there's not a lot of detail that he gives, and you might get the impression that they didn't push him very hard because, I mean, he's still a minor. He probably had to have his mother and father with him for them to question him at all. And, well, you didn't meet Ava, but Dwayne might be able to tell you that she might have been a little protective of him not to, be re-traumatized over and over, like, having to explain over and over what happened to him.
Okay. So I think I turned to Dwayne. I mean, there wasn't much of a statement given by him for obvious reasons, but maybe we should look for places someone could be held. I mean, similar to the movie The Lovely Bones. Is that out yet?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, looking for like
it is a book,
holes in the ground or something like that. Yeah.
I'll go and make sure that we have at the very least a flashlight.
Mm-hmm.
If we can have one each, that would be perfect. And while I'm going around looking for any trails into the woods, I would ask Toby because, well, he was sort of an outdoorsy kid, probably with his brother, but that I don't know for sure. If he ever been here, maybe he had noticed some sort of a cabin on the way here, maybe some sort of, I don't know, I want to say a cave, but I'm not sure if they're present in Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he would specifically had been in this woods as a kid, especially since it's like on the outskirt, basically. So yeah.
You're
the biggest
pretty
thing,
much
I think,
halfway to Seattle at this point.
Yeah, okay. So no, have not been here.
I think the biggest thing, the most obvious one, might be some sort of a map. Maybe there's a ranch somewhere. Maybe there's a forester hut that's marked on the map. So there's that at least somewhere to begin. But if not, I think just looking for a trail and seeing where people were going, maybe a car was driving somewhere, because I don't think he was carrying him like this. He probably drove him somewhere with something.
Okay, so for we're looking for trails and obvious landmarks on maps that can help us go through this. So, okay.
Yeah. Good. Dwayne, how about you make me an investigate roll, and
Sure.
we'll see. You'll still get information. Oh, well, you do very well. So
That's a 19.
Yeah. So, all right, Dwayne, you seem like the kind of guy who would keep maps in your car, maps of Devonsport and surrounding, probably just a whole booklet, like atlas booklet of the surrounding areas. So I'll say you have that. So you're studying your maps, and the two of you are also looking around. And you don't see any trails. Basically what you have here is it's a 2-lane highway. So one direction and the other and coming back the other direction. So not a very big highway. And then it has some dirt turnouts, and then it's just lines of forest on each side of you. And you don't see any official trails for sure. You don't even really see any footpaths here either. This doesn't seem to be an area that people sort of stop and wander off into the woods. But you do know he was only found here. So, Dwayne, you're looking at your maps and you do see that there are some roads in this forest that I think they would be called they would be emergency vehicle roads. So in case there was a fire or something to that effect, then you can drive on these roads into the forest and at least get closer to whatever the emergency is. So there's a couple of those, and the one closest to here is probably about a mile or so up the road.
And if I trail these roads, is there a chance that any of them would be very comfortable to drive to or from the house of our suspect? For example, if I am Dubois, who is going to take the kid, put him in his car, and drive him out here, I would probably try to stay as unnoticeable as I can, even if no one sees the kid, just in case. So I would pick some sort of roads and trails that wouldn't have a lot of cars on them, but still lead somewhere to the forest to those trails. And I'm thinking, if I look at the map according to them, would there be some sort of way of this kind?
So this is the main road out of Devonsport. There's not really any other. So there's, like I said, Devonsport is rather small. So you have maybe 3 main roads that lead out of town. One going north, one going east, and one going south. And so you are on the road that's going east. And let me just make sure I'm telling you the correct thing. But you're on one of those roads going out. So there's not really any road that he could have taken from his house, which is in Devonsport. He would have had to have been on this major road. And then, so he could have been driving on this major road. And then the closest sort of emergency road that goes into the forest is about a mile away from here. So that would be potentially the most likely place that he would actually be able to get off the road and drive into the forest.
I would just call Toby and show him that road. The closest one.
Well, look like we have a path to go down then.
Do you want to take a walk or just drive there? It's about a mile.
I think we should take the car to be safe in case we need to get away really fast.
Good point. Let's go.
Yeah. A lot of odd stuff going on today, so.
As I'm going to the car, I'll also note, albeit he was just found here, like that guy could have had kept him in his, like, creepy bedroom for however long trying to kill the kid and just dumped him over here.
That is true.
And I'll slowly go towards that emergency road, still keeping like half an eye on any footpaths or any drive-ins to the forest that might not be on the map or we might not have noticed from our vantage point.
Sure. Yeah. You haven't seen too many people driving this road at this time. Again, anybody commuting from Devonsport to Seattle would be doing so in the morning and then coming back in the afternoon. You don't see any footpaths or trails as you go along. Again, this is a strange place to be just going into the woods. It's pretty thick, and you can imagine at nighttime it would be rather dark. It's wintertime now, so in probably 3 or 4 hours now, it's going to be dark, and there's not really any lights around here. It's just not very convenient for somebody to stop on the road and then try to carry somebody or try to make somebody leave. But since you're driving slowly, you find this emergency road rather quickly. Again, it's just a dirt path off of the freeway that goes into the forest.
You don't think there are going to be any fires in the nearest couple of hours, do you?
I would hope not.
Well, I mean, we might as well take this road instead of leaving the car on the sideway.
Okay.
And hoping there won't be any fires.
Again, it's very foggy. It's very misty. Everything is very wet right now. So the chance of a fire happening at this point is very low.
Yeah, I just don't want to make any explanations about why I blocked the road.
Yeah.
If anything happens.
Sure. So you drive on this dirt road. And you do have to go rather slowly. It's dirt. It's maintained well enough for like an all-terrain vehicle, but I don't think you are driving one of those possibly right now. But still, it's good enough that you are able to drive down it. How far are you driving? So according to your map, it looks like this goes for a couple miles at least.
I would be driving very slowly and keeping my eyes on the road because of the mist and it's forest and it's dark. So I should better concentrate on going. And I would rely on Toby for looking around, seeing any suspicious. In the meantime, with my investigation, I got 2 questions to ask.
That's
So as
right.
I'm driving, I'm thinking, is there any chance I can find out more about what I'm investigating? Or rather, how could I find out more?
Right. So you are driving down this path. And you're looking around. Toby's looking around, I assume, as well.
Yep.
And so you're kind of doing what you are supposed to be doing. This seems like the most logical to you way to get somebody to basically get off the road so that somebody doesn't see you, and to get into a forested area, deeper into this forested area, if you wanted to get rid of somebody. But as you're looking around, this does not look like somewhere you can build a cabin. It is very thick. There's no trails, there's no footpaths really. And yeah, it's just, it doesn't look like somewhere you could hold somebody, really. This looks like a place to dump somebody.
Did do something for a week. Whether not here or Eric was just wandering for a week. But he wouldn't have survived here for a week. What do you think about it?
Well, if he was just using this place instead of Eric wandering for a week, if he was just using this place to dump the body, then, because I'm thinking about in the journal when he was like, he came back. Toby will real quickly go to those notes, but yeah, and in Frank's journal when he was writing all those symbols, he made a comment about someone coming back. So maybe he dumped the body thinking Eric was dead. Eric wasn't dead though, walked out the woods, police found him. Maybe he wasn't keeping him. Maybe this was just where he was dropping him off.
As far as I remember, he disappeared and then reappeared the next week. So if he was dumped here, confused in the middle of winter, I am not sure he would have survived here. And if he wasn't confused, I don't know, I feel like someone would have found it. It's not an extremely large forest. He would have stumbled upon the road probably sooner than later. So I know that there was a lot of bullshit going on with this case, but I'm hoping that we can find some place where he stayed for that week until he found his way back.
Okay.
Unless you have any ideas, because, you're a professional as well.
I wouldn't call me a professional. No, I stand by that. Either he found a place to survive for the week, or like I said, he was dumped and came out. But it's one or the other. So I think we should definitely look for areas that could be used for a type of shelter, or areas that could be used to hide a person, basically. Empty graves, stuff like that.
Or water sources, small ponds, ditches.
Ditches for, yeah, ditches. Especially keep our eye out for that.
And I'm wondering if I had to dump a body in the forest, where would I do that? Unfortunately, I know that I would have done it in the swamp. But there are no swampy areas in here, right?
Not here, it seems. It seems to be very, very much redwood forest. So you're driving and you're looking, and you do reach the end of the emergency path. It ends into a sort of into a bigger sort of area for you to at least turn your car around. It might take a couple, 3-point turns, but it's a bigger area so that you can at least turn the car around so that you can go back whenever you want to. But yeah, it ends here. And again, it's kind of forest. It's just kind of forest. If you want to get out and look around, you're welcome to do that.
That was my next suggestion.
Yep, let's get out.
Okay.
I don't think driving does us any good.
All right. You get out. The two of you get out. And you're hit with the December cold of this area. You might have some mist, sort of sticking to your clothes. And I'd like to know specifically where you guys are going. What are you doing? What exactly are you looking for? I guess ditches or ponds, somewhere to hide a body.
I think Toby would also be looking for that symbol that was in the book.
Mm-hmm.
To see if it pops up anywhere.
Okay.
To be honest, I'm mostly going to be looking for any places down the road that look like a comfortable way through the trees if I'm dragging someone rather heavy behind me. Because the way you explained this forest, it's rather dense and thick, so there must not be very many such places where I could go with the body through the trees.
You're carrying a body? No, not really. Okay. So, the two of you split up a little bit. You're looking around in this area. Dwayne, you said you're going up the road a little bit also?
Yep.
To take a look? Okay. Yeah. Dwayne, you still have another question from your investigate if you'd like to use that.
Both are very tasty questions, I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe aside for a teenager wandering the woods in the middle of winter and not being killed by the elements, is there anything else weird about what I'm investigating?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The forest again feels very quiet, very cold. And especially in this area, it's gotten a bit darker. The trees are hiding any light from the sky. You don't really hear any birds. You don't really hear any insects. This area in particular, even in the winter, you should hear something besides the wind in the leaves in the canopy of trees above you. It's very, very quiet. You hear your own footsteps on the dirt. But even that kind of feels muffled here. You're having a strange feeling. Can't quite put your finger on it.
It's very uncomfortable and borderline dreamy, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to think about some sort of weird 9-foot tall creatures that might have scared all the fauna away. I'm thinking that we're people. Animals usually are quite scared of humans. Maybe we're not the only humans here. I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of a hunter. But still, as I'm walking about and looking for any ways deeper into the forest, I'm still trying to cling closer to Toby. And at some point, I will comment that this place is weird. It's giving me the creeps. Something's wrong. I can't put my finger on it.
Creeps ever since we started this investigation.
Well, I just hope we won't disappear for a week. Ideally at all.
Yeah, when you say that, Toby gives you a look. How would you jinx us like that?
God, I don't know. Just something's wrong. I can't put my finger on it, but something definitely is not right.
Toby, you are wandering around. You're talking to Dwayne. You did have a couple drinks earlier. And I'm going to use my move from your earlier fail here. And you're not really paying attention, and your foot sort of slips on some dirt. It's a bit of a hill on one side of the road. You catch yourself. You catch yourself on a branch on one of the trees, but you almost fall into this ravine. It's not that far down. You would have been scratched up, and it wouldn't have felt good, but it's perfectly survivable. But you do scratch your hand on the tree as you're catching yourself. It's not that bad. It's not hospital worthy, but it does start to bleed.
You're right
And
there.
he's just gonna raise his hand and like shake it like he's trying to shake away the pain. He's gonna be like, I cut my fucking hand. God. Rough ass trees.
I'm looking in my pockets in case I have, at least something to help him with, maybe a napkin. I don't think that I'm carrying a med kit in my pocket.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Just
but
a cut.
You have a napkin.
It'll be fine.
So I'll give you the napkin because who knows what kind of animal you might attract by bleeding around.
I'll take the napkin. Honestly, he probably doesn't even think he needs the napkin. It'll air dry. Yeah, he'll press it against the cut, and then he's gonna look back at the branch or the tree that he cut himself on.
You see some of your blood on it. But more interestingly, you see the ledge that you almost fell over. It's basically just a small sort of dirt, like it's a small ledge, and it leads down into a ravine that looked like it had once been a stream, but it's now just overgrown with bushes and other plants. But if you had slid down there, you would have had a really hard time climbing back up.
Yeah, I think he notices that, and he backs away from it a little bit just to put space between the ledge and him. He's gonna try to actually no, he's just gonna look down a little bit, like he's interested to see how far down it is.
Okay. So it's not exactly a ledge per se. It's just a hill that goes down. And as you look closer, it does look like some, small saplings, maybe some bushes, some other things look to have been disturbed. Not recently, but they're broken over, as if something maybe rolled down this hill.
Dwayne, flash the flashlight over here. I think I might have found our ditch.
I'm going closer with the flashlight, giving him a look, and going also try not to bleed when some asshole is drawing satanic symbols around.
Okay.
And I'm lighting wherever he's pointing at.
Yeah. You also notice once you put your flashlight on it, it's just a small hill that leads down to, again, what used to be a stream, a little ravine. And yeah, it's It looks like something at some point rolled over. There's, new growth, but you can definitely see that this area was disturbed at one point. And you haven't really seen any other disturbance around here.
Well, on one hand, it happened years ago, so probably everything would have been overgrown by now. But then I remember how something weird is happening at the school with almost the same thing, where things from the nearest past keep reappearing. So maybe it's not as weird. So I'm looking at Toby and going like, do you want to go down there?
You got a way to get me back up?
Oh no, fuck's sake, I'm going with you.
You got a way to get us back up?
If it's our ditch, Eric somehow got up. But I'm not sure if I have a rope in my car. I can check.
Okay.
There's plenty of trees around.
For what reason would
help each other up?
For what reason would Dwayne have a rope in his car?
There are two reasons. First one, it's maybe in a rural area, it's one of the things a cop would have in their car. And the second reason, I kindly refer you to my dark secret.
Okay. You have rope in your car.
Brilliant.
Okay.
And I hate that I do.
So you may use the rope in your car. Yeah, I would imagine, let's just say that because, yes, you are a police officer in a rural area, you have various items in your trunk. And if you need items for certain things, you can let me know. And then I'll say when we're done with your magical trunk of items.
I think I'll find a tree like thick enough to hold our weight, but not thick enough that the entire rope will just encircle it. To make a knot, throw it down, so we have at least a way up, a safer one than just climbing like a cat.
Yeah. You're welcome to do that. So the hill is about 25 feet down. It's far, but it's not terribly far. So yeah, that would be about 8 meters ish.
Yeah, but that's what I was
got
doing.
it. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, you can tie the rope around, and with the help of the rope, you can definitely get down safely if you wish. And you believe that you can also get up safely if you wish.
Yeah, making a few tugs just to make sure.
So, going down?
Yeah, Toby's gonna turn to Dwayne. I'll go down first. When I touch land, I'll call for you up top for you to follow after me. It's just better for you to wait in case there is someone down there. You're the one with the gun, so you can have my back. I'll yell out if there's trouble.
I'm also the one with the light. And I just shine down so he at least sees where he's going.
Okay.
So, yeah, Toby, you go down, and we don't have to role play this entire situation. There's nobody down in this ravine, so Toby, you get down there. Dwayne, you're able to follow him. Toby, you also have a flashlight, so you can light the way for Dwayne as he's coming down as well. And you get down to this ravine area. It's in the forest. You search either way. And again, it's not totally dark yet. It's not as bright, but with your flashlights, you're able to see down pretty far. There doesn't look to be any footpath or any other trails. You just see forest. And Toby, your hand where the cut is, it starts to burn a little bit.
Yeah, Toby will like hiss out and start shaking it again. Like he's trying to cool it off. He's like, fuck, something's wrong with it. And he'll look at his hand. Does the cut look different?
It's bleeding more. And as you're shaking your hand, the blood spills onto the floor and some plants. Maybe you get a little bit on your face and you feel it.
That wasn't smart. Yeah, he's just cursing up a storm as he shakes his hand.
Yeah.
But as it splatters, he'll stop and go back to pressing that napkin to it just to see if he can stop the flow because it's starting to get everywhere.
Yeah,
Poison ivy or what?
You press the napkin to your hand, and the blood starts to soak through the white. And it starts to... It makes you think about something. Makes you think about 5 years ago. You had just gotten back from the war. And you woke up one day after one binge or another. Don't exactly remember how you got back to your bed. But you remember looking at your hands. And they are covered in blood. You know it's not your blood. You run to the bathroom because you feel sick. You feel nauseated. You just about get to the sink and you gag. And in the sink, you see what comes out of your mouth. Looks like pieces of bloody meat and blood. And then you smell smoke. And char. And then your hand, it stops burning. It stops bleeding. Looks like it's fine now. I would like you to keep it together for
Yeah.
remembering this. I would also like for you, after we see what you get, explain what you look like to Dwayne as you have this vision, this memory.
Yeah, I got a 12. And I think I am angry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as I had this vision, and I'm just at this point, I've thrown the napkin onto the ground because I don't need it anymore, and I'm just staring at my hand with the blood on it, and I think my hands are shaking a little bit. And at first, you might mistake that for being scared because of all the blood on my hands, but I think as you look into his eyes, you just see rage. He is mad right now. He's trying his best not to lash out. You could probably see the veins in his neck, and he's gonna start clenching and unclenching his fists, like he wants to hit something. And he's thinking about that man who he found when he was looking for Ken. He's thinking about after this going back out and finding that man who talked to him like that, talked to him when he was trying to find his brother as if that didn't matter. I mean, he kept it cool in that moment, but there's a lot of anger coming back because of what has happened right now. And because of her, it comes back to her. And the fact that Ken might have also been talking to her. And now he's gone. So, yeah.
I am not making things better by kind of slowly, cautiously approaching and asking, Toby, you're not having an episode, do you?
I'm not having the episode. And yeah, he's gonna wipe his hand. He's probably spreading the blood more in his face, but he doesn't care. He needs to just run his hands through his hair. Like he's fidgeting a lot because like he knows that you're not the person to take this out on. So there's a lot of just movements of him trying to get all this energy out by fidgeting with himself. I'm fine. I'm just pissed. This fucking cut, man. This fucking cut. I'm fine.
You got very angry at this cut.
Is the cut still there even though it stopped, or is it like...
It's still there. You can still see it, but it's stopped bleeding now.
Yeah. Thank God for that.
Right.
And he'll just raise it to show you it stopped bleeding, and now he's fine. He'll put it back down.
Yeah, man. I think I get it. Like, a lot of crap happens. Menial things might get you to the edge and over it. I think I get it.
It's fine. It's just been a long day. But let's focus back. Yeah, it's only the start because we really haven't found much. But yeah, let's focus back on searching around down here.
After so many years have passed, I'm just turning around, looking this ravine, ditch, hill, whatever. I'm not sure what we will find, but then, to be honest, I've been thinking that about every place we went to. So who knows? So if we assume that this was the place where Dubois has thrown Eric in, just left him for dead. Eric wakes up and
Climbs back out.
tries to climb back out, but given the steep incline, I don't think he could. Were I
got out
in
somehow.
his place, I would have tried to just go along the road. So keeping the hill, for example, to my right, just going ahead. I'm not sure he will not. As good enough as an option as any.
Keeping my eyes open for like caves or like things like that down here.
That too.
Okay.
So let's go.
Yeah.
So you walk along the ravine, keeping the road within your sights. It's pretty straight, and it's a little bit rough going, just having to step over all the forest debris and weaving around the growth. This area is not very rocky, so there's no caves or areas where caves might be. And as you're going along, you both realize that this would have been extremely hard for anybody to get through. It's hard for you guys. I mean, Dwayne, you're a little bit older, so you are sort of huffing and puffing. You're still in relatively good shape, but you're an older man, and hiking through this forest is a little rough going for you. Toby, you're a young man. You're in very decent shape, very good shape. But even for you, this is rough. And by all accounts, Eric he wasn't involved in sports in high school or anything like that. So by all accounts, he was just kind of a regular teenager. It would have been really difficult for him to traverse the woods at all. So he might have gotten back to the road, but if he had gotten back to the road, he could have just followed the road and gone to the main highway, which would have been, and then he would have been found there, or maybe he had walked down the mile along the highway before he was picked up, but he was gone for a week. There's a lot of sort of questions running through your mind as you're stepping through this forest. Also, it would have been apparent that the police did do a thorough enough job of investigating Eric's disappearance and asked his teachers and other people at the school. There's no indication that they suspected Frank Dubois, and there's no indication that Frank Dubois was also gone for a week. So you go through this ravine, and there does come a point where the terrain does just get too tough. It's to go any further would be really tough going. It would be hard to get back to your car. You wouldn't really be able to make it from here back to the highway.
Well, this explains why he took a lot of time to get out, but a week time. While we were going, was there anything particular on the ground?
No, not really. Just, again, the typical forest debris, traversing through the trees.
All right, this does make a little bit of sense. Dubois gets him in a car, he's driving him over here, he's throwing him overboard in this ravine. The boy wakes up, he cannot go up, so he's just starts wandering the forest, hoping to get somewhere. And if he was confused and lost, maybe it would have taken him a week. But again, how come he didn't just freeze to death?
What if Eric didn't make it out the woods? I mean, the Patrick at the school shooting may have not been Patrick. There's somebody who is convincing enough to be perceived as other people, maybe. We think that he doesn't know what to call Eric's mom. Eric's mother, she said he was different after he came back from the woods.
What if you?
I mean, yeah, but different to where you're starting to become a little violent. I don't know. After this, I feel like this type of situation, I would cling to my parents more, but I'm not a therapist, so I don't know about child development. It's a theory I'm thinking about right now, because we seem to be struggling on the fact that a kid like Eric could have made it out the woods after going through all of this. So I'm just thinking, what if it wasn't him that made it out the woods?
Who do you think made it out the woods then?
I don't know. Well, that's a theory to work on, theory to find out about, but I'm just keeping it in the back of my mind.
Well, I did mention to the kids that I would take their claims about skinwalkers seriously, so why shouldn't I take a theory about skinwalkers seriously from you?
Yeah, and I'm just thinking of that echo well, not echo, but the version of Patrick I saw that first day we went to the school with the blurred face. It left an impression, so he's just thinking, like, what if there's something like that with the blurred face, it could change his face. It's something he's thinking about, and yeah, so he's just gonna keep that thought open, but it is one of his theories. He wanted to share it.
So now we're looking for a corpse.
Maybe. I mean, again, I'm not sure. It's just something that was on my mind while we were discussing all this. I could be completely wrong.
I mean, after that stuff in school, why the hell not? Shouldn't be surprising if there's a fucking angry ghost around, pretending to be other people. But I mean, there's some sort of sense in this. Like Eric goes missing in the woods, and then he comes out a different person, and then Patrick doesn't go missing in the woods, but at least goes to the woods and comes out a different person.
Yeah.
So there might be something there.
So I guess we just continue on. Keep looking for clues.
I don't think we can get back if we continue on right now. I mean, look at these woods.
So you want to head back up?
I'm thinking that if he was dead, as you assume he was, and his body hasn't been found, it might have been eaten by some sort of wildlife. But maybe something was left there. Maybe we should just, churn the forest floor around, see if we can find a bone,
Clothing.
a button.
Okay.
It's hard to try and find some sort of ghost alien skinwalker. I wouldn't know where to start.
It's hard to say that sentence. So, yeah. So I guess we're just looking around at the ground trying to find something.
Probably closer to the place where we just slide in.
Sure. Yeah, and so you're heading back the way you came, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So as you head back, you are looking more at the ground. You have your flashlights. Maybe you're turning over some of the dirt and the plants as you go along. You don't really find anything. No bones, no clothing. In fact, there's really no remnants of humans here at all. In certain areas of the woods, you might find evidence of people, kids going and partying and maybe cigarette butts, beer cans or something. Here, there's none of that. There's no food wrappers. It's not really anything to suggest that people have been here at all. And both of you would probably think of this as well, looking around the forest, trying to find a body here, if there is indeed a body, would be trying to find a needle in the haystack. If somebody just kind of wandered through the trees and passed away, be difficult to find any remains of them unless it was close to where you were walking right now.
Okay.
I just sort of want to do the movie thing. And, go into the library and seek for any urban legends or rural legends in our case.
Yeah. You make it back to the rope, and you can easily enough use the rope to climb back up. Yeah, nothing dramatic here. You make it back up to the car. You can take the rope again and yeah. Heading to Seattle?
Yeah.
Yep, heading to Seattle.
And I think we need to give it a name. Well, I mean, instead of calling it Alien Ghost Skinwalker every time.
Okay. Did you think of one?
Yeah, part of me wants to be funny and call it Steven. I don't know, I just feel like maybe if we kind of name it somehow, if we make it very specific and concrete what we're looking for, it will be a little bit easier, for the mind. Or maybe it's just years of therapy speaking.
I mean, if you think it'll help, deal with it better, then yeah, go right ahead.
What do you think we're dealing with, a skinwalker?
I don't know. This, from the very first night, this has been beyond, anything I'm used to. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a lot.
Yeah, I know it sounds ridiculous. One of the reasons I'm trying to kind of ground this all.
You drive in the direction of Seattle. And you're having this conversation as you're driving, I assume.
Yep.
So, do you discuss anything else as you make the about 45-ish minute drive to Seattle?
Who do you think these people with symbols are? Besides for your uncle.
I don't know. I just feel like it has to be a group, right? Because the houses were vandalized after the shooting, so Frank was already dead. So it's more than one person who this symbol means something to. So yeah, I'm thinking a group of people who I don't know what it is that they're doing, but the symbol means something to them.
Right.
Just have to figure out what it means.
Don't take it the wrong way, but maybe it's an entire group of people who are involved in whatever happened to Eric and later to Patrick. I mean, they have these symbols on their walls. Dubois had in his notebook, maybe it's something like 1 down, 4 to go.
Okay, that makes sense. That also worries me since my uncle's house was vandalized, but maybe.
It worries me that your uncle might be involved in something like that.
Yeah.
And you've never heard any of these names before?
The names that we got from the book.
The names with of the people with the symbols on their doors.
I mean, have I heard of any of them? Do any of them important to Toby as a character besides his uncle?
Let me take a look here. So we have okay. So Scott Nell, you probably wouldn't. Katie Lombardo. I mean, Toby. So, would either of you have gone to the hospital recently? Maybe Toby.
Nothing good. You kind of hung on us at would either of you.
Oh, okay. My signal is okay. Should be fine now. Would either of you have gone to the hospital within the recent past?
Maybe I would have checked the hospitals to see if Ken was admitted. But that's all I can think of.
Okay. So let's say, Toby, you really, now you're really starting to think about these names. There was a nurse Lombardo, a mid-30s nurse that you talked to at the local hospital. And yeah, I think you've maybe talked to her a couple times about your brother, and she's always very pleasant and nice. She wears a Christian cross on her neck, and she always tells you that she will pray for your brother and she hopes that you find him.
Okay.
And I don't see either of you as church-going people.
No. Well, at least not for me, no.
Yeah. So yeah, otherwise I think, yeah, Toby, you would just know Katie Lombardo.
Idea about connections?
Yeah, the only one that stands out is the nurse, but I only know her because I went looking for Ken to see if maybe he was admitted to the hospital. But other than that, no, seemed religious. She said she would pray for him, but other than that, she didn't ring any bells or set off any alarms in my head.
Is your uncle religious?
He's the mayor. He's probably not religious. He probably goes to church for, because he's the mayor and people probably want to see him at church, but
Yeah, that doesn't add up. Because, if the nurse was religious and Dubois had some sort of cult-like bullshit in his notebook. So I was thinking there's the connection, but yeah. And it's hard to be religious and a politician. On the other hand, if we dial back about these connections, did Jessica ever made any, I'm not sure, something for the hospital? Because she's obviously working with this, with our mayor. Did she maybe give some money or lend to the hospital, as far as we know?
As far as you know, you don't have that information on hand. However, Jessica, you're talking about Jessica Inzio, right?
Yeah.
Jessica Inzio has a lot of money in a lot of the infrastructure of Devonsport. Inzio Construction does pretty much any sort of construction job in Devonsport. It's not like there's not really any other competition when it comes to building in the town. So if the hospital were to have a new wing built or something like that, she would have been a part of it. Or the company, rather.
Yeah, that's a bit far-fetched on my part.
So you're talking and driving, and the highway starts to leave the highly wooded area, and you cross some bridges over large bodies of ocean water, and yeah, you just start to get to more densely populated areas again, and you get to Seattle, or at least the outskirts of Seattle. And just as that happens, and possibly serendipitous to what you were just talking about, you get a phone call, Dwayne, on your cell phone. And
I need to stop at the side of the road.
Sure. Yeah, you're able to pull over. I mean, you're in the city now, so you're able to either park or go into a gas station or something like that. It is Jessica Inzio on the caller ID.
I'm looking at it, even showing it to Toby, thinking like, speak of the devil, and pick up the phone. And look, yeah? Inzio?
McLean.
I'm listening.
You are looking into that thing that Dapperton told you, right?
Yep.
I just sent you a picture of a symbol. You need to tell me if you've seen it or heard about it.
I'm sort of fumbling, trying to find where did she send me that symbol.
She texted it to you, or I don't know what kind of phone Dwayne has, but if it's text capable, then She would have texted you a picture.
I believe that maybe it's something more modern that you would expect. I think that perhaps his daughter or her family just gifted him for one of the birthdays. So
Yeah.
he stops using that Nokia.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, you're able to fumble around a bit. And she sends you a picture of the symbol that you've been seeing around in the vandalism and in Dubois' journal.
And I'm thinking a moment about it. Should I tell her everything or not? Even giving Toby a look as if he's capable of reading my mind.
I'm not.
And yeah, no, unfortunately.
You don't have
return.
You don't have the call on speaker or anything?
I don't think Dwayne knows how.
Okay.
But given that he is an older gentleman, I would assume that the volume is up, so Toby could catch at least a part of the conversation.
Yeah, I'll say, Toby, you can hear this conversation as well. It is a little quiet, but you can catch it. You're in the car with him. It's close. So
then returning the call and going, yeah, someone's been vandalizing some people with it.
Have they? Where?
Yeah, one of them is the mayor, and the rest, I'm not sure who they are.
Okay.
I'll look into it.
You do that. I will look into it as well. And she hangs up.
Good, because I was just about to ask her that she knew what we would find. And he hands up the phone and goes, well, the devil lady is going to look into the symbol as well.
Oh, this is not good. Yeah, I might be being paranoid, but the fact that now somebody else is looking into the symbol, it just seems like a bigger conspiracy is going on than what we know about.
Well, I mean, I suspected as much. She doesn't usually ask to do anything that's not suspicious. Like, why would someone who is building houses in our little town be so interested in reinvestigating school shooting? Of course, there's something deeper, but I don't think she sounded very excited or happy about the symbol. So if you're worried about your uncle, I think she sounded more like she was going to protect him rather than do harm.
True. I don't know. It's just a lot to take in, I think. It's as soon as we start talking about it, here's this phone call comes in, so but hopefully it's like you said. It's not gonna give us any trouble.
Well, maybe, of course, she's the lesser of two evils, but, you know, if you have to choose between a greater evil and a lesser evil, you're still left with evil.
Yep.
So I'm thinking Eric's workplace, then his apartment.
Yep. Let's see if they seen him recently. Or if he was absent on the day the shooting happened.
Okay. I'm putting the phone back in my pocket and starting the car again and go, sometimes I'm happy about my age because I genuinely forgot I also saw the symbol in the notebook.
You did?
Yes,
You just saw that.
I only now remember that we had it in the notebook, and I just genuinely forgot to tell Jessica.
Mm. Well,
Okay.
Let's go then.
do you want to keep her updated? Just asking. You said she was trouble before.
It would be very suspicious of me not to keep her at least partially updated. But I'm not very sure what she's up against and about right now.
Okay.
Like, I'm just. If I knew what she wanted, I could have answered that question. But this is way too weird and suspicious, and maybe my moral code shouldn't allow me to keep her updated.
So you guys have Eric Switzer's workplace address. He works at Tech Zone, which is a software development company. And you get there. It was easy to find. It's in downtown area. And just to expedite things, Dwayne, since you are a police officer and have credentials, you are able to go to reception, and if you ask about Eric Switzer and wanting to know information, they will direct you to the HR office where you can talk to HR. So you are directed to the office of Lynn Smith, and she's sitting behind a desk. She's wearing a very nice colored shirt. She's a woman in her 40s, looking very clean and very put together. And she will greet you both. Hello, gentlemen. I'm Lynn Smith. I hear you have some questions about a former employee of ours.
Former?
Yes, former.
He was fired?
Yes. Unfortunately, we did have to let him go. And she has the file on her desk already, and she starts to flip through. Yes, it looks here like he just stopped showing up to work about 6 months ago. And apparently he was a very talented worker here, and we made many calls to try to get a hold of him and see what happened, and he just stopped showing up.
So it wasn't normal for him to just disappear for some time?
No. he had only been working here for about a year and a half or so, but he was one of our very talented software engineers. He was very smart, very, you know, we didn't want him, we wanted him to stay working here. But yeah, if he doesn't return our calls, then there's not really much we can do. We had to hire somebody else.
Yeah, he doesn't return anyone's calls.
Hmm.
Do you know if anyone noticed any change in his behavior before he disappeared? Maybe some colleagues?
Well, I unfortunately got a couple of complaints about him, HR complaints from coworkers. Mostly him being sort of arrogant, making rude comments. He didn't seem to be very well liked by his colleagues. As far as change in behavior, I didn't really know him personally. I only knew him when I've had conversations with him about his behavior, and he seemed to be receptive to my feedback and didn't really say much beyond that.
Maybe we can ask some colleagues he worked close with.
Yes, I can call some people in from his team. And she picks up the phone.
That would be helpful.
She picks up the phone and makes a couple of calls, and yeah, in a couple minutes, 2 other employees come into the office. I don't have names for them. Let's just call them there's Denise and Chad.
All right, then. I will introduce myself. And after a short pause, I think I will introduce Toby as my assistant.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We should have left you a uniform or something. Yes, and I would ask if they have noticed any changes in behavior within Eric Switzer before his departure from the company.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe he had dropped a phrase or two about something weird happening in his life.
So the 2 of them will kind of look at each other, give a look, and Denise will speak up first. Eric was actually, he just wasn't a very nice person. He was incredibly smart, and he's very good at what he does. And it was great having him on our team because he just got everything done that he was assigned. But having to talk to him was not pleasant. As far as changes in behavior, we didn't really know him outside of work. I guess maybe before he stopped coming to work, he seemed like he was more tired. And I don't want to be rude, but he was starting to smell. Like, he wasn't taking showers very often. And Chad will nod his head in agreement and say, like, yeah, it didn't seem like he was doing laundry very often. He would wear the same clothes every day or multiple times in a row. He smelled.
Those actually sounds signs of depression.
Yeah, maybe. But anytime somebody tried to talk to him, he just said something nasty and went back to work.
Yeah, I never heard as much about him. He did go to that science Olympiad, though, with something from this company, right?
Science Olympiad? What is that?
There was some science thing going in Seattle some time ago. I don't quite remember what it was about, and he's looking at Telby for support. But I believe he was seen there.
It was just a competition. And he seemed to have been there. I was wondering. I guess we were wondering if this was work related.
Yeah.
I have never heard of Science Olympiad. And they both look at Lynn, the HR woman, and she shakes her head too. I've never heard of that. I don't know what that is. It's not any conference that our company goes to, at least.
And speaking of, do they actually look genuine? Because I know that it might be hard to speak about some company business in front of an HR.
Mm.
And I'm wondering whether they're holding back on account of her being here.
I won't have you roll anything for this. They do look genuine. They just kind of look like they're probably in their mid to late 20s, and they just look like regular employees, like, there's no really indication that they're holding anything back, except maybe they might say that he was an asshole instead of he said not very nice things.
And I'm thinking how to get the conversation there. So after a moment of hesitation, I'm going with, have you maybe seen something odd in his workplace? Maybe some weird phone numbers with, I don't know, meet me at the usual place, or religious memorabilia, that sort of thing. Something that can make a person go a little crazy.
He actually didn't keep anything personal at his desk. I never saw any pictures of his family or trinkets of any kind. Like, most people kind of decorate their desks around here, but he had nothing on there. And the HR lady will speak up and say, yeah, I remember when we were going to clean up his desk because he hadn't been around, we brought a box to, put his belongings in so he could pick it up if he needed to. And we, he had nothing here. We didn't have anything to put in the box.
I have a rather tricky question, but you say that he disappeared about 6 months ago, stopped going to work.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do about it? Did you call the police? Did anyone have any investigation about it?
If we don't hear from them, we don't call the police if we don't hear from somebody, or if they stop going to work. That's not in our protocol.
So you didn't think that the man doesn't come to work and doesn't answer your phone, so he might be dead, and you might be the last person who has seen him?
Well, we don't have a policy where we are required to inform police. And now she's starting to get a little more HR uptight. And she starts rattling off very HR sayings like we are not under obligation by law to let the police know, blah, blah, blah. And sort of the indication is basically if they have friends if the person who stops coming to work has like friends at work, they would be the ones who would kind of look after the person. And since nobody really liked Eric, it seemed like nobody really, cared to look into why he stopped going to work.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Did you ever see him draw this symbol, maybe like on a paper, some data entry? Maybe he just was absentmindedly drawing the symbol, and I'm going to show them the symbol.
They all look at it. The HR woman is a little, again, uptight now, so she briefly glances at it, and she says, "No, I don't recognize it." And the other two also kind of shake their head and said that they don't see it. And, yeah.
And this is why I asked about religion and memorabilia.
So I guess you're done here. I don't have any more questions. Do you?
No, not really, and it's a little bit too late to say if you remember anything.
Well, yes, if we're done here, then I will have you escorted to the door.
Thank you for cooperation.
No problem.
I will gladly get escorted to the door. And on the way, he asked Toby, "Do you remember when the Olympiad was? Was it half a year ago?"
Toby would not be able to tell you. Yeah. He does not memorize that stuff.
And I don't think I have it in my notes, too.
What'd you say what was 6 months ago?
Was the Olympiad 6 months ago the one that we saw him on the photo of, like staring at Frank?
The Olympiad was... It was about 6 months ago.
Well, at least this checks out. About his apartment, Eva didn't mention whether he owns it or rents it.
She did not mention that, but but you would assume he rents. Seattle is very expensive, and buying property here, he just wouldn't have, like, Ava doesn't have the money for that, and he wouldn't have been working long enough to have that. It'd be, if he did own his apartment, that would be strange.
Well, let's hope the landlord won't catch us.
Let's hope.
Okay. All right. You head over to his apartment building.
Indeed.
Okay. So, yeah, you park in front of it, and so you can go up to the main building entrance, and there is there's like a call box, and it lists the last names of the people who live there. So the apartment building is about 4 stories. There's maybe 10 apartments. There's one call button for the superintendent, the manager of the building, basically. And we don't have to role play this out. You if you want to basically call the manager of the building and then show your credentials, Dwayne, they'll say, oh yeah, well, we've been having complaints of, noises and smells coming from that apartment anyway. And they were about to start to legally do something about it. So they're more than happy to have you go up there and check things out.
So it's his name on his apartment's button.
Yes, it says E. Switzer.
That's great. And there I thought someone would already be renting that apartment and we would have to go through the dumpsters.
But it is odd if he lost his job 6 months ago that he's able to still afford this apartment.
There might be certain issues with getting people evicted if they are doing everything by the book.
Oh, okay.
The building manager would say that he has not paid rent for 2 months now. And they've tried knocking on the door. They can't legally go into his apartment unless they talk to him in person. There's a lot of laws in Seattle for renters and such. So, and then they can't legally start doing anything until I think it's like 3 months or something. But for the purposes of this story, they were on their way to into legal action to try to get him evicted or have him pay for back rent.
Well, I'm not sure how it would work legally, to be honest, but I think that I would fake it basically as a welfare check. I'm not sure if they could use this sort of motive to actually open the door for us.
So I think the super, we'll say he's a man in his 50s, and he's like, I guess the law about this is a little wishy-washy, but I mean, the owners of the building are are pretty pissed off that he's not paying his rent. So, and you're a police officer. I'm just going to give you the key. You can go on ahead in there. Just tell him to pay his rent. All right.
If he's there, sure.
Yeah.
Pluck the keys.
Mhm.
Tell Toby that this is easier than I thought it would be.
We haven't gone inside yet.
Well, and I'm passing the keys to him. Be my guest.
Yeah, I'll unlock the door.
Okay.
I'm silent. If Eric's in there, I don't want him to know we're coming in. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you very quietly put the key in the lock, and you open the door. And as you open the door, you're hit with a wall of hot air that smells putrid. It smells like sweat. It smells like old food. It smells like stale beer. And it smells like rot. You open the door to Eric Switzer's apartment, and you are both hit with a wall of hot, putrid air. It smells like body odor. It smells like stale beer. It smells like old food. And you do smell rot as well. As the door opens, you basically are looking into a hallway. It's carpeted with a sort of beige colored carpet, and the walls, well, they were white at one point. The entire walls and ceiling are covered in the symbol that you've seen around, as well as other similar symbols that look like it. They are just covering the walls and ceiling, either written in black ink or scratched into the wall. In every way that you could possibly put the symbol on the wall, it's there. On the floor, you also see piles of takeaway containers of bottles of drinks, sodas, of beer cans. There's plates and other trash on the floor, as well as dust and flies buzzing around. You can see that this short hallway, there is a door on your left, and then there's a entryway on your right, and that's in the middle. And then at the end of the hallway, there are two other doors at the end.
Hopefully it
I'm
only
gonna look
smells like
at
someone died here.
Dwayne. You're the officer. Which door do we try first?
I see how you quickly changed your mind. And to be honest, I don't expect anything to jump out on me. If anything, I'm expecting to find something dead inside. So I'm just coming in carefully without unholstering anything, but stop very quickly, just a few steps in, because I want to look at these symbols and just, on a surface level, try to determine whether or not they are old or new. Like, were they here for years or maybe a couple of months/weeks?
Okay. Toby, are you following him in?
Yep.
Okay. Do you close the door behind you?
Yeah, I think I would close the door just to make it harder in case he gets past us for him to leave if he is in the house.
Okay. You go inside the hallway and close the door behind you. The symbols that are drawn on the walls, they look relatively new. It doesn't look like they've been on the wall for years, at least. And as you're walking through the hall, you do have to kick away some of the trash on the floor. And you do kick up dust as you're walking.
Sometimes some food joints would, instead of putting your bill inside a bag, just plaster it on the container. Are there any of those on the containers?
Yeah. There's some receipts.
Because I do want to look through them and check the dates on these receipts. He stopped paying 2 months ago, but that doesn't mean that he left the place 2 months ago.
So you bend down and start to look through some of these receipts. There's a lot of stuff here, and this is only the hallway. So the newest, you don't see any receipts newer than, newer than 2 months ago.
Out. But first things first, you said that there's a doorway on one side and there's just an open arch to the other.
Yep.
So it's logical to go where the door isn't closed first.
Sure. Toby, are you doing anything specific? Or are you just following?
I think I'm hanging back by the door frame when he enters, just to see if maybe no one comes out of any other room. But I'm standing in the doorway basically, and I'm just a lookout as he enters this room.
Okay. Dwayne, you open the door, and this is the second time that you've been hit with a wall of putrid air. This is the bathroom, and it has not been cleaned for quite a while. So you can imagine the smells that are coming out of here. You don't see anybody inside.
Yeah, just so Toby doesn't linger behind too quickly, I think that my first idea would be to just check every room, at least on the surface, if there's anyone there. And if there's not, I'll just call Toby to look around closer.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, the bathroom is disgusting, but empty of people. The opening that was on the right, the archway on your right, that's the small kitchen area, which is also filled with takeaway boxes. There's also plates and cups. The sink is overfilled with dishes. Looks like there's a lot of flies. Things have obviously not been cleaned for a long time. There is a window here, which looks like has been, the curtain is shut. It's quite dark in here. It doesn't seem to have any, like, you can turn the lights on, the lights still work, but the window that you see in the kitchen is closed. It's closed up really tight. And you continue? Okay.
Just to look around, like, there's the kitchen, there's the bathroom, there should be some sort of a living space. Check that for anyone inside. If there's not, then Toby's invited.
Okay.
Okay.
You get to the end of the hall where there is a door to your right, which is closed. And then there's an opening to your left, which when you first look in there, you can see that there's a couch, again covered with trash and stuff. So, and again, the walls are covered in these symbols. There's no space left uncovered with these symbols. As you approach what looks to be the living room, you peer inside, and in addition to the couch, there is sort of a coffee table, and on one wall there is a television with a gaming console, like the PlayStation or something. And then on the other side of the room, there is a desk with a very expensive looking computer. There's 3 screens and a body slumped in the chair of a man. He is naked, emaciated, and very, very dead looking. He has either scratches or drawings of the symbol all over his body. And on his head, he wears a VR, virtual reality headset and large headphones. And his head is slumped over, lying on the desk. and it faces you as you enter the room.
I'm making a few steps back because I expected, but I also didn't expect to see anything like this. And without even looking at Toby, I'm just saying, Ahoyok. I think you gotta see this.
Yeah, Toby comes in closer from the door frame. He takes a look at the body and there's just a moment of like exasperation, I think. Like this case has taken some turns, and I think also there's sympathy because, if this is Eric, not confirmed yet, but if this is Eric, that means Dwayne's son might be dead. And even though whatever there was, Dwayne's his friend. And this could be a blow regardless of whatever his relationship with Eric is. So he's gonna look at Dwayne. I'm gonna and Toby, he doesn't laugh, but he's like, I'm gonna tap to see if he really is. Stay right here just in case, have my back, just in case he's not as dead as he seems. But I will start to slowly walk over and like tap the shoulder of the body.
Okay. You do that. Dwayne, I would like you to roll to keep it together, please, as this is happening.
Sure.
Okay.
That's 20.
Wow. That's a success, all right. So you're holding it together. You're a professional. You've been a detective for a long time. You've probably seen some things, maybe done some things.
And for some reason, I don't believe that this is Eric.
I see.
In my mind, it's too convoluted for this to be this easy.
Okay. So, Toby, you walk over carefully and you tap on the body. The skin is really dry and it's a little, it's sort of like parchment paper, and yeah, it's not body temperature for sure. And you hear some sounds when you touch it that should not be coming from a live body. As soon as you touch it, though, you do start to hear in the headphones the sounds of gunfire. Like from a video game.
Toby is going to lift the VR head and the headphones off the head of the body, but he's not automatically got to put on the headphones and listen. He's gonna very respectfully, well, as best as he can, He's gonna turn the body around in the chair to and look at Dwayne like, does this look like Eric?
Does it?
It does. It does look like Eric.
He does not answer you, but by the way his jaws strain and the gaze is starting to just wander a little bit, like looking inside, I think you can guess the answer.
Damn, man, I'm really sorry. This is not how I wanted this to go.
What the fuck happened here?
When he says that, I will pick up the headphones just to see what it was that Eric was listening to before he died.
Yeah. You pick them up, and they are weirdly warm to the touch. And I guess you bring them closer to your ear.
Yeah, closer like this.
Yeah.
I just hold them up to my ear. I don't put them over though.
Okay. You hear the sounds of shooting. You hear the sounds of gunfire. You hear screaming. You hear laughter. You hear the screams of many, but the laughter of one. And
Is it familiar laughing? Because we heard laughing at the school too.
Oh, yes. It is familiar. And I would like you to see through the illusion, please.
Got you. Okay, well, that was bad for me. It's a 1.
Wow. Yes. So the sound gets louder. The gunshots get louder. The screams get louder. But what gets the loudest, what you hear above everything else, is that laughter, is the joy that somebody is getting from all this destruction. It is consuming you. It's wrapping around you. Dwayne, you also start to hear the shooting, the maniacal laughter, the screams. Toby, you see the symbols on the wall. They don't exactly glow, but they briefly light up in a wave around you. It's a wave that starts at the ceiling and moves down. And then you see the wave of the lighted symbols start at Eric's feet and move up his body to his head. And he's actually bald. He shaved off his hair so he could draw more symbols on his head. Then his eyes start to glow. And Dwayne, you don't see this glowing the way Toby does. But you still hear that shooting and laughter and screaming, and you start to feel something as well. You start to feel the air getting thin. You start to feel something pushing on your chest as if you can't breathe. And Toby and Dwayne, you both feel the floor disappear under you. Everything around you turns into just darkness. Toby, you also feel this oppressive something on you. And then you start to feel your hand where you cut yourself burn. And that burning moves through your arm and up to your chest and throughout the rest of your body. And you feel like you're being torn apart. Not limb from limb, but molecule from molecule. You both experience this darkness for a minute, an hour, a day, a year, 100 years. You don't know how long. Toby, the burning sensation goes away and you feel yourself coming back together. And then you feel a floor underneath your body. Dwayne, your experience of this is more like falling. And then dropping and landing. And you're both on a cold floor. And as everything lights up again, you find yourself in a room. It's not the room that you were in. It's a young man's room, seemingly. A young person's room. There's posters on the wall. There's a computer on a smaller desk. There's a single bed. There's textbooks on a shelf. There's a backpack in the corner. Toby, I'm going to reduce your stability by 2.
Okay.
Dwayne, your stability only reduces by 1.
It's not looking good for me.
Where are you at?
Neurotic.
Okay. So, what would you like to do?
Toby after that can't really do much. Yes, the floor is underneath his feet, but I don't think for long. I think as soon as there's like a settling feeling like gravity has returned, he goes immediately to his knees. Like his legs go out, he goes to his knees. He has the 1,000 yard stare because that was a lot of pain to have for what felt like forever. And I think he's like twitching a bit, like the muscles in his body is like jumping, like aftershocks from what he has experienced. And he's not saying anything. He's just twitching as he kneels on the ground and stares off into space for a minute. Yeah.
However much I would like to check on Toby, when things were starting to get dark, and in the stuffy room as well, my first thought was that I am losing consciousness. And I was going to rush to the nearest window that I saw that should have been one on my right hand, and I just didn't have enough time to get there. And now, when there's a moment of even relative clarity, at least I can feel the floor underneath my feet, even though the room is very different. I am still trying to kind of feel around for that window that I saw in my peripheral just a few moments or maybe a few years ago. Try to touch it, try to open it, because I'm thinking it's a stuffy room where someone died, where there's a lot of rotting. We might just get some sort of poisoning that forces at least me to hallucinate. We need fresh air, we need it now.
Yeah. You tried to go to where you thought the window was, but now you're in a different room. Now you're in, looks like a teenager's room. And the window, which is open, the blinds are open, there's sun shining through it. It's in a different place than where you were going towards.
I've been just confused. I think I can get to that window without falling down like Toby.
Yeah.
He maybe needs air more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to carefully get there so I don't fall and actually open the window fully to let some air in.
Okay.
What else but hallucinations this might be?
Yeah. You get to the window. And you go to open it. It's one of those, it looks like one of those that you need to, unlock it at the bottom and then you lift it up. But when you get there and you try to touch the window, it's flat. It's almost like a optical illusion. It looks like there should be a window there. It looks like that there's depth and glass that looks to the outside. But you touch it and it's flat. There's no texture. There's no feeling. The window's not actually there. And Toby, while you are on your knees on the ground, you're staring at the floor, which looks like carpet. At least it looks like it's supposed to be carpet. But as you're on your knees and your hands are touching the floor, again, it's flat. There's no texture. There's no soft carpet feeling. It feels like a flat surface.
That probably snaps him out of it a little bit. I think maybe he went to go grab the carpet looking for comfort, and feeling that it was flat takes him out of it. And he kind of jumps back up. And he looks at Dwayne. There's something wrong here. This is wrong. The fucking carpet is fake. He's stuttering a lot, and he's just looking around trying to see what else in the room isn't the way it should be. Like it's lacking something that it should have. He's looking around.
Okay.
We're hallucinating, I think.
I ignore that.
Yeah.
Even if I'm hallucinating, this is my reality right now. So hallucination or not.
Yeah, Toby, you are you're close to the desk. So you get up and start to try to feel the desk. And on the desk it's like a computer, there's a book, there's a chair, there's a lamp, there's pencils. At least that's what it looks like is on the desk. You try to grab for the book or the pencils. They're not actually there. It's as if it's an optical illusion. It looks like there's a book and pencils, but you try to touch it and it's just a flat surface.
And
What's outside?
He's rubbing his face aggressively right now as he sees all this. Even the computer's fake too.
Yep. Computer is also fake. Try to touch the keyboard. It's not real.
What's outside? And at the window.
Mm-hmm. You're at the window. It looks like a bright, sunny day in Devonsport. You see a street outside.
Is that Wilson's front yard?
It is, indeed.
Dwayne has ideas and theories, but they are too ridiculous for him to voice. So he's just rubbing his face, just turning around, trying to snap out of it. It doesn't work. So he just looks at Toby, just shrugs a few times and goes, Wilson's place. We're in Wilson's house.
Fuck that. We're not in Wilson's house. This isn't real.
And I'm showing to the window.
He ignores the window. Is there a door to this room?
Yes, there is.
He's gonna move towards the door and try to open it.
So you go to the door, and the door lights up as you touch what you think is the door handle. But again, it's flat. But when you touch it, it lights up and it opens.
Don't play this game, man.
What game?
I don't know. He was sitting in these VR goggles with the something that sounded like the famous school shooting we almost witnessed. And now we're at the Wilson's house. I'm not saying it's a real house, but I don't know. But I feel like you might just go out and start shooting kids.
You think if I leave this room, I'm going to go out and start shooting kids?
It feels like it's some sort of scenario that's going on in circles of some sort. I don't know how to properly explain this.
Okay, then I won't leave the room. And Toby is going to start punching walls and hitting stuff, seeing if he can break the room. He's angry, so.
In the meantime, Dwayne is just walking around the room and feeling it with one hand to see if there are anything that's not flat, basically.
So Toby, you start punching things, and when you start punching things, nothing breaks, but you do feel a sort of vibration when you make contact with things that you're punching. You punch it and it's bzz. It does hurt your hand when you punch these things. And after you do this a couple times without anything breaking, your hand is quite sore. I don't know if you necessarily care at this point since you
felt worse.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a punch and a small vibration, but that's it. And Dwayne, you feel across the room on the walls where the posters are, bookshelves, other stuff around. It's not real. The poster, you can't feel it. The bookshelf, it feels like a box, the bookshelf, feels like it's a box that is against the wall, but you can't take out the books or anything.
You can't just do that, right, Toby? You can't just hijack a person like this.
We've seen a lot of things that can't happen.
Dwayne sort of, on one hand, wants to share his own thoughts about this, but on the other hand, he feels like if he says it out loud, he will admit that it's real, and he doesn't want to admit that.
Dwayne, as you move around the room, everything is fake, but your foot kicks against the backpack that's on the ground. And when you do that, it lights up and it falls over, and there is a M16 handle that falls out of the top.
I'll kneel down and touch the handle to check if that one is real.
When you touch it, it lights up briefly, and you're able to take it if you want.
I don't.
Okay.
But I will attract Toby's attention to it and nod and say, well, that one's real.
It's the same kind of gun used for the school shooting?
Seems like
is.
it. Oh, come on, don't tell me that to get out of here we need to shoot a bunch of kids.
I'm not doing that.
Well, maybe if we don't take this, and he points at the handle, and we sort of follow this scenario to the end, maybe we can make something different.
Maybe. I'll go pick up the gun.
Okay. It briefly lights up, and you're able to take it.
Are you sure you want to take that?
I'm gonna unload it. Can I take the bullets out the gun?
Yeah, you can take the cartridge out. You can take the one out of the chamber. You can unload it.
I will do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I will leave the cartridge and the bullet in the chamber with Dwayne. I'll give that to him while I carry the gun.
Okay.
Part of me wants to leave them here, but I am afraid that, let's say, another player can come in and take them, so I will carry those and maybe dispose of them on the way.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember, so he just came out of his room, went down to the woods, acquired a coat there, and then went straight to the school. Sounds easy enough to follow. Why didn't I ask what Eric was working on at his job?
It's a good question. Well, so you leave the room then?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to follow the way Patrick was going about that day, but my priority is to stay close to Toby, so if he diverts, I will divert as well.
Okay. Sounds good. So, you leave the room. And as you're moving through the Wilson's house, what looks like the Wilson's house, you again, things look like they're supposed to have texture and depth, but the rest of the house actually looks pretty bland and gray. And in areas, it looks like there's some pixelation. It's not as realistic looking as the room that you just left in the rest of the house. There's discernible rooms and some blocky furniture. But otherwise, it's not very good looking. And you get to the front door.
Are there any reflective surfaces in the house?
There are some decorative mirrors that
do we
are around.
Actually reflect in
No.
them?
Nope.
Figured.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go then.
Okay. You get to the front door. You open it up. And contrary to what you saw out the window, you open it up straight to the footpath that led you from the woods to first past Douglas Crosby's house and then going to the Switzer's house.
I think I will leave the bullets somewhere in the area. These might not be real bushes and, whatever grass or herbs are there around. But even if they are not real, they might just cover them enough.
Okay.
So all the ammo goes somewhere underneath that illusion.
Yeah. There is a bush, and you're right, it looks real enough, but has no texture. It's just sort of a blob type feeling, just flat blob. But you can put the bullets in the cartridge underneath it.
I do wonder, however, how my own gun will work here. But I think my feeling of fear about it is stronger than curiosity.
Yeah. As we get closer to the Switzer's house, we should check the shed.
We should.
So you follow the footpath that, if you turn around after you leave the threshold of the door, you only see the woods. You no longer see a door to the Wilson house. The footpath, it's supposed to be dirt, but there's no crunch under your feet of gravel or dirt. It's not slippery like sort of dirt would be. It's flat. And you see that the grass and bushes, they're kind of waving as if there's a breeze that you don't feel. And it looks a little uncanny valley. It looks real enough, but there's something off about it. And if you try to touch it, it's not actually there. If you continue on the footpath, you pass Douglas Crosby's house, the man who saw Patrick. He's not out in the yard or anything, and the house is kind of bland looking. It doesn't have any character or it doesn't look any different from any of the other houses on this sort of row of houses, except for the last house, which would be the Switzer's house.
Lead the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna make my way to the shed.
Okay. You get to the Switzer's house, and it looks, again, it's the only house that has any detail and depth, as if it's leading you to this house, leading you in this direction. The house looks a lot more menacing, though, than it does in real life. It's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit darker. The fence goes a little bit higher. It gives you a more menacing feeling than the nice colonial style house of the Switzer family in real life. Do you open the gate?
Yep.
Okay. You open the gate, and the backyard has the garden shed. It has a tree with some furniture underneath it, and some other things strewn across the yard. Hanging from the tree, though, is the body of a woman. Ava Switzer is hanging from the tree.
That's his mom.
Your son was sick. This is sick.
Unfortunately, I know. But we already know that it's not really... That man did something to him to make him turn out this way, drawing all sort of satanic bullshit on the walls and himself, and doing whatever the fuck this is.
Toby says nothing to that. I think we don't know where to point the blame yet, but he's not gonna... Yeah, he can't comfort you right now. So, she's just hanging? Like, she's like from a rope, or is she like...
Yeah, there is
I don't know, any other way.
There's a noose that's tied to the tree and it's wrapped around her neck, and she's hanging there.
No notes? You know, like suicidal notes.
No.
Can I try it? I'm gonna tap the body.
You tap the body, you touch it. It does not feel real. She's wearing a sort of dress that looks to be blowing softly in a breeze that you don't feel. And when you touch it, there's no texture. You can't feel the material. It doesn't move. It just feels like a block, really. A solid, something that's made to look like this person.
Yeah, seeing that confirmed, I'm not gonna waste more time on this, on whatever this is. I'm gonna go see if the shed actually works or if it's fake.
Okay.
Like the door of the shed.
The door of the shed does work. In fact, when you touch it, it blinks and opens for you.
Yeah, I'll open it up. My first thought in mind is to recheck that plank again.
Mm-hmm. You touch that plank. It lights up. And the plank just disappears. And inside the hideaway space is a yellow raincoat, another gun, and more ammo. Many, many more cartridges of ammo.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna call out to Dwayne.
I'm at the entrance.
Yeah, it seems he was stockpiling.
Well, there was just one gun in the shooting, wasn't it?
Think so, but it seems there's two. There's the one I took from the room, and now there's this one.
Is this one real?
If Toby...
I'll pick it up.
Decoration.
If Toby touches it, it blinks and he's able to grab it.
Well, he obviously has some murderous fantasies, which he probably played out through hijacking. But there was just one gun, and Eva's alive, and even if she wasn't, why does he want to kill his mother?
Well, is she still alive? I mean, he could have done this while we were on our way to Seattle.
Yeah, but it looks like he wasn't alive for a few weeks at least.
Mm.
But I don't know how this works.
As you both are talking about the gun and Ava and what's happening, you start to hear gunshots. You start to hear screaming, and you start to hear laughter. It's in the distance, and it's coming from the direction of where you believe the school is.
As soon as I hear laughter, I take off. I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to drop the gun I just got because I still have the other one,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to run in the direction of the school. I'm not going to pick up the yellow raincoat.
Okay. Toby takes off.
I'm following, but I'm not taking the gun.
Okay.
And as far as I know, Toby's not. Wait, you took the one without any ammo?
I took the one that's unloaded that we got from the house.
Yeah. Great.
But I left the one we just found in the ground.
Because this might be weird, but I don't feel comfortable shooting at even unreal children.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of shooting at the person laughing.
Still, I am just following Toby, but I believe that he would be quite more spry than I am.
Yeah. I imagine Toby is very quick. And yeah, you both start to run towards... In fact, when you get out of the backyard of the Switzer's house, you see that the footpath has appeared right in front of you, and it leads directly across the field and toward the school, which you can see in the distance. And with the sound of laughing and shooting and screaming, and now running from our two investigators, I think we'll stop there tonight and continue the story next time. So,
okay.
Thank you guys. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this recorded actual play presented by the Illusion Horror and Con. We'd like to thank our game master, players, and all other contributors to this video. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed this actual play. And let us know what you think of this episode in the Illusion Horror community spaces. Respectfully, of course. For more information, schedules, and future events, please visit our website and join our Discord server. Links are in the description. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.